I want to say, so if you're brand new here to the platform, you can see me, I cannot see you. And my invitation always is those of you that are practice, especially if you are joining me for the physical practice, for the yoga class, to please practice ahimsa. Ahimsa in yoga is being kind to yourself, being friendly, practicing self-care. So whenever you need, take a break. Whenever you need, you can also make any modifications because of course I can't guide you since I can't see you. And if you want to use any props, so if you would like to grab any blocks today, a bolster to put underneath your knees when you lay down, you can also roll up a blanket or roll up a beach towel, if that would be handy. And at the end of the practice, we're going to have about a 45-minute practice of the physical practice, the vinyasa. It's a slow flow, all levels class. And then we'll move into some journaling for about 15 minutes, the last 10, 15 minutes of class. So if you want to grab any of that now, go ahead and grab that. And if anybody wants to share, again, either where they're from or maybe right now, just go ahead and close your eyes, put your hands on your heart and belly, and let's take a couple of breaths. And just feel what you feel. What is touching the ground? Are you sitting? Are you laying down? Are you on a yoga mat on the floor? Are you sitting on the couch? Are you laying in a bed? Just notice, what is it that you feel? I'm going to take another minute here, just allowing yourself, for your own self-reflection, to arrive to this moment. And with your hands on your belly and your heart, and taking another 30 seconds, about another 5 breaths, just ask yourself, how are you feeling today? Take some time to check in. Notice if you scan the body from the top of your head, down the face, down the spine, down to the tips of your toes. Bring awareness to any tension or tightness that just with your awareness might give the body permission. Ask the body and let the body parts know it's okay to let go of that tightness. Connect to your breath. And maybe repeating to yourself as you inhale, I am present. And as you exhale, I am grounded. And with your breath work, with one hand down on your belly and one hand on your heart, let's take a cleansing breath together with a big inhale. And softly open up the mouth, sigh, release, let it go. I'll lead you through some Dirga breaths, 3-part breaths. Starting from the bottom, inhale from the belly, mid-belly up to the collarbones, hold. And exhale from the top, 3, 2, and 1, squeeze at the low belly, let it go. Inhale for 3. Filling up, softly releasing for 3. Squeezing, emptying out at the belly. Do that 5 more times. Feeling the body expand, breaking through tightness. And slowly releasing anything that doesn't serve you, feeling the body. You might notice start to soften, slowing down, letting go. Hearing the breath, sensing the breath. Being with what you notice in the body. And releasing, watching that breath empty out. Releasing and receiving with compassion and grace. So before we start to move and before we get into the journaling, just ask yourself right now, like, what is your intention here before we get to our mats? Maybe an intention, maybe it's a word. In this moment, what is here present on your heart that you want to send energy to? Something you would like to awaken in your life and yourself? And consider the intention of connecting to a higher power or a higher purpose, if that resonates with you. And if you find that a word is not bubbling up, consider the word presence. Consider being intentional in showing up, to observe, to notice, and to breathe. With your next inhale, breathe in, I breathe in. As you breathe out, I breathe out. Continue on your own. And during this entire practice with me, if you find that anything in the practice is challenging, if you find that the mind wanders, consider coming back to this. You can sit here with your hands on belly and heart. You can lay down. You can make yourself comfortable. But see if you can stay connected to your breath and the present moment, knowing that you can always repeat, I breathe in and I breathe out. There's a power of grounding and bring awareness to the present moment by being here with the physical sensations, the power of connecting to your breath. Now bring awareness to your prana, your life force. So in yoga, pranayama is actually bring awareness to beyond the breath, beyond oxygenating the body. There's the subtle body, the energetic body. When we inhale with intention, we expand that vital force within us. It might be expanding outside of us. You might feel that. And as you exhale, slowly releasing, softening, letting go, maybe releasing any stagnant energy. Bring awareness to this prana, expanding. You bring appreciation, gratitude for this life force within us. It's always here within us. And softly releasing and let it go. Bringing this awareness to your prana. Breathing, expanding. Softly releasing. And notice what you feel. Bring awareness to the subtle body. And this prana is the energy that's within us, it's within you, it's within me, it's within the plants. It's that same energy as a plant that's growing up through the ground, a sprout that reaches up towards the sky. And that's that same vitality that wants to reach up for our light, that wants to reach and naturally just wanted to expand, grow, evolve. And softly releasing, just being here in your environment with the breath, with this vital force. Go and relax your hands, relax your arms, make yourself comfortable. And then gently drop your chin down towards your chest. We're going to bring some very gentle movement. So before I even get to my mat, I'm just going to be here with you in my chair and just rotate your head to one direction and just pause. Like, how does my neck feel? How does the top of my shoulder just notice? And then slowly drop the chin down toward your chest. And then slowly rotate the head to the other side. Relax. Soften. And like I feel like I have a little knot here on one side of my neck. It's been here for a while. You know, I've been trying to ask my body, what is that? But ask it with kindness. And then slowly drop your chin down towards your chest. So now on your own, you don't need to watch me. Just maybe close your eyes if that's comfortable and just move your neck and start to move your body in any way that brings awareness to anything that might feel tight. Maybe starting to open up the body and creating space if you feel anything that has a sense of stuckness. And your chin down toward your chest. And with your chin down, softly open your eyes. And before you even lift your head up, open your eyes and set your gaze on one spot. So in yoga, we call this setting your drishti, your point of focus. So with this practice, we're beginning to cultivate clarity of the mind. And also it's a tool to help the monkey mind, give the monkey mind something to do. And here you're looking, you're noticing, is the mind wandering? Are the eyes wandering? It's okay. Notice it. Come back and imagine that there's one spot that you're focusing on. If you notice any wandering, notice just with observation, no criticism, no judgment. Practicing focusing the mind. Practicing clarity. Creating a soft gaze with the eyes. And consider setting this intention as we move and breathe today. So when you move, if you can bring this focus on your drishti. When we move from pose to pose. And when we hold poses in stillness. Be kind, inviting grace. If you find that this is mentally challenging, it's okay. It's a practice. It was challenging for me when I first started this. 2 more breaths, softening your gaze. Emptying out that breath. Breathe in. And breathe out, let it go. And if you're not at your yoga mat, slowly work your way to your yoga mat. I'm going to get to my yoga mat now and move out of my chair. And again, if you want to grab some props, feel free to do that. So I'm going to invite you to come into our first posture, which is a child's pose. So bring your knees out wide, forehead to the ground. As you reach your arms towards the front of your mat. And you may or may not want blankets underneath you. I have them here. I was using them when I was meditating. Balasana, hands are forward. I'm taking my knees out wide and my big toes to touch because I find that comfortable. But if you find that it's more comfortable to bring your knees together, feel free to do that. And if you're comfortable, bring your arms forward, bring them forward. But if you find that's challenging for some reason in your shoulder joints, consider bringing your hands back towards your heels. So the breath work today, as we flow, is Ujjayi breath. So I just led you in our opening meditation in a Dirga breath, in a 3-part breath. You can still be here in child's pose, but I just want to, in case you don't know what Ujjayi breath is, inhale through the nostrils and exhale through the nostrils. And as we began in the beginning of the class, filling up from the low belly, expanding all the way up into the collarbones. See if you can keep the shoulders down. And exhaling from the top, emptying out, squeezing at the belly. Breathe in. And breathe out. Walk your arms now over to the right, staying in your child's pose. And bring awareness to what you feel on the left side of your body. So opening up the channels in the left side, feeling that breath expanding in the left lung and the left rib cage. Inhale back to the center. And as you exhale, walk your arms over to the left and breathing and noticing what you feel on the right side of the body. Inhale back to center. Again, one more breath here in child's pose. Then inhale up onto your hands and knees, stacking your shoulders over your wrists or hips over your knees. If you find that you would like some padding underneath your knees, you can bring a blanket or a beach towel or any type of padding. You're welcome to do that. Otherwise, staying here with your shoulders stacked on top of your wrists, hips on top of your knees. We're going to move through some cat-cows. As you exhale, push the ground away from you, pressing the upper back up towards the ceiling, feeling those shoulder blades spread apart. And as you inhale, slowly drop the belly down, drawing the shoulder blades down the back, arching the back, extending. And then you exhale, rounding the back. You might even open your eyes, looking back towards your belly button. And then inhale slowly. So you're flexing and extending through the spine. See if you can do that on your own 3 more times. You're exhaling, you're emptying out, pushing the ground away from you. And you're gently inhaling, filling up. Heart is forward, chest is lifted. And you can notice how the body feels. Being mindful, we want to avoid anything that feels like sharp pain. And using your breath to keep this rhythm of inhale and exhale. And then meeting in tabletop. We're going to come to something called thread the needle. We're going to start bringing some spinal twist to the side. So reach your right arm up to the side. If you want, you can reach it up, but if it doesn't go up, don't do that. Just listen to your body. Then exhale, slowly reach your right arm underneath the chest, right side of the head, right shoulder down. And then tiptoe the left fingertips forward so the left side is long. Hold here 5 breaths. Now stay where you are. I'm just looking at the camera so I can talk to you. So you may be stacking your hips on top of your knees here. If you find that's uncomfortable, maybe you bring your hips back towards your heels. But just notice how this feels, always observing and noticing. We'll hold here 1 more breath. And then slowly walk the left hand back, pressing the left hand down to unthread that right arm, maybe twisting up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, right hand down, left hand down. And let's take a cat-cow. Exhale, push the ground away from you, rounding the shoulders, rounding the back. Inhale, slowly drop the shoulder blades down the back. And then tabletop. Set your drishti, set your gaze on one spot. Keeping that cultivation of clarity and focus. Inhale the left arm up, coming up into our thread the needle. Exhale, reaching the left arm under. Left shoulder is down. Left side of the head is down. And with the right hand, if it's comfortable, tiptoeing those right fingertips forward. And then again, maybe you want to stack those hips on top of the knees or in line with the knees, or maybe they're going back. So take some time right here to discover what is working for your body today, to let your practice, your asana practice, asana is actually the physical practice of yoga, to let the yoga practice meet your body where it is today. As you hold this 3 more breaths, really allowing yourself to let that left shoulder and left side of the head rest on the ground. So depending on your spine, And your mobility, as you're holding this, you might be twisting the spine a little bit more to the right. And if you feel like that's too much, then you don't have to. Just notice everything is observation. Be kind to your body. Breathe in and breathe out. Slowly walk that right hand back. Press the right hand down. Slowly unthread the needle. Left arm is up. And then exhale, both hands are down. Take another cat-cow. And now coming into this cat pose, pushing the ground away from you, looking at your belly button, tuck your toes, keep pressing the ground away from you. And now exhale, send your hips up towards the ceiling into a downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And you ground your hands down into the ground. See if you can push the ground away from you. So instead of looking like a plank pose, you're more like an upside down V, like an A-frame, and your tailbone is reaching up towards the ceiling. And your feet, they may be hip width apart. Some of you may have a practice where you touch your toes together. So for you right now, just choose what feels stable for your position of the legs. If you find that this is challenging, maybe you're not used to downward facing dogs and the upper body is feeling challenged, consider taking your feet out wide. That creates a little bit more of a stable base, and you may find that that's less pressure on your wrists or on your arms. Let's take 2 more breaths. Starting to feel what's called the inner fire, that tapas arising. Breathe in and breathe out. Step your feet to hip width apart if they're not there. Look back towards your toes, and this is going to feel like Simon Says, walk your hands back to your feet. And take a pause here. Keep your head down. You can shake your head. And then stand to the center of your mat. And then grab your opposite elbows. Come into a rag doll. You can bend your knees here. Maybe a gentle bounce of the knees. And gently, slowly sway side to side. And not just to sway, but to maybe sway to one side. And notice, what does my hip feel like on that side? Sway to the other side. How do I feel on my back, my spine? And shake out the head. Let the head be really heavy, especially if you have any tension or tightness in the neck. And now come into stillness, open your eyes. So opening the eyes can bring us back to present, setting your drishti. Shrug your shoulders back one direction, creating space in the shoulder joints. Shrug the other direction. And then fingertips down to the ground. Walk your fingertips forward. And we're going to take a very short downward facing dog. So my feet are completely flat on the ground. I'm on my spider fingers. And now I'm going to press my chest back towards my thighs. My weight is back in my heels. So it's so light in my fingers that I could actually let go of my fingers in this posture. But you're just gently shifting back to create some space in the right arm and the left arm, the outside of the lats. No pressure on the wrists, no pressure on the hands or the shoulders. No weight bearing here. Heels are back. 2 more breaths. 1 more breath. Now inhale, looking forward in between your thumbs. Step your feet up to the front of your mat. Now step your feet together. Going to come into a halfway lift. Inhale, lengthen your spine, halfway lift. Chest is roughly parallel to the ground. Exhale, melt your chest down. Now notice if feet together, if that does not feel stable for you, consider taking your feet hip width apart. Inhale, halfway lift. Your fingertips might be gently touching your shins or not. Exhale, forward fold, empty the breath, shake it out. Halfway lift, inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, melt it down. So now we're going to take a twist. Left fingertips underneath your face, bend your left knee, then inhale your right arm up towards the ceiling. So we kind of did a thread the needle, had this in our spine a little bit, but now we're doing it in a standing posture. And then exhale, right hand is down, shake out the head. Bend your right knee this time, right fingertips underneath your face. Inhale your left arm up. Take a few moments, breathe, and notice how this feels in your body. And then exhale, slowly left hand down. And then do that again. Right arm is up, bend the left knee, right leg is straight. Exhale, right hand is down, shake it out. One more time on the other side. Left arm is up, right fingertips are on the ground. Exhale, release, let it go. Inhale, roll up the spine one vertebrae at a time. Press your feet down into the ground. Then inhale your arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, forward fold, empty, let something go. I'm going to do a half sun salutation A. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen your spine. Exhale, forward fold, empty the breath. Sweep the arms up again. Inhale, reach the arms up. Extended mountain pose. Exhale, pause, hands at your heart. Inhale, reach the arms up, extended mountain pose. Exhale, forward fold, empty the breath. You can bend your knees here. Inhale, halfway lift again. Chest is parallel to the ground. Exhale, forward fold, empty. Do that 2 more times, that sequence, warming up the body. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. Exhale, hands to your heart, pause. Inhale, reach the arms up again. Exhale, forward fold, hinging at the hips. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen your spine. Exhale, forward fold. Last time, this half sun A. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands at your heart. Inhale, reaching up, extended mountain pose. Exhale, forward fold, empty the breath. Inhale, halfway lift, and let's take a pause. Hold here. Stay in this halfway lift. 2 more breaths. So notice your feet press down on the big toe mound, pinky toe mound, and the mounds underneath each heel. Starting to feel the quadriceps engage. Notice if you're shifting back into your heels, shift a little bit more into the big toe mounds. Now imagine that you can feel the spine lengthen from the tailbone all the way out to the crown of your head. Staying with the breath. Now you don't have to touch the ground. You can be gently touching your shins or even your thighs. Then exhale, plant your hands down to the ground. Step back into a high plank or drop down to your knees into a modified plank. Breathe in and breathe out. 2 more breaths, either in a modified plank or a full plank. So in your plank, your modified plank, it might be a little bit like a tabletop, but if you can, maybe taking your knees back a little bit. And just see how that feels. That is a little bit more strength for the arms. Inhale. If you're on the knees, go ahead and lift your toes off the ground. Inhale, exhale, lower all the way down to your belly. And then everybody on your belly, hands just underneath your shoulder blades. I'm going to come into what I called a baby cobra. Press the tops of your toenails down into the ground. No pressure on the hands. Inhale, lift the hands and the chest off the ground. Exhale, forward fold, empty the breath. Do that again 3 more times. As you inhale, strengthening the upper back. And as you exhale, melting the chest down. Feeling the body slowly warming up. Exhale, empty, melting down. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, melting the chest down. Press down onto your hands so you shift your hips back into a child's pose. Breathe in and breathe out. So I'm going to invite you to stay here for 4 more breaths. Expanding as you inhale, emptying out as you exhale. I'm going to start moving into that same sequence we did again, adding a little bit more arm strength. Again, you choose to do a high plank or a modified plank. So from your child's pose, inhale, exhale, tuck your toes, look at your belly button, downward facing dog. Big breath in and big breath out. Open your eyes, set your drishti. Empty, let something go. Step to the front of your mat, maybe in between your thumbs. As you inhale, halfway lift, chest is parallel to the ground. Exhale, forward fold, empty the breath, moving this prana. As you inhale, extended mountain pose, reach the arms up. Hands at your heart. Exhale, pause. Inhale, reach the arms up, extend in mountain pose. Exhale, forward fold, hinging at the hips, knowing you can bend your knees here. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen your spine. Exhale, stepping back into a high plank. You're gonna hold this 3 breaths again, or maybe you're down onto your knees. 2 more breaths. 1 more breath. As you exhale, lower all the way down to your belly, straightening the legs. Inhale, baby cobra, no pressure on the hands. Tops of the toenails press into the ground. Exhale, melt the chest down. Inhale, hovering the hands off the ground. Exhale, melt the chest down. Let's actually do that 2 more times. Notice what you feel in the thighs when you actively press the toenails down into the ground. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, melt the chest down. Press the hands down. Exhale, back into a child's pose. Breathe in and breathe out. 1 more inhale here. Tuck your toes. Exhale, look toward your belly button, downward facing dog. 2 more times like that. Big breath in. Big breath out. Step to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Notice how long it takes to get to the front of your mat. Take your time, it's okay. However your body is showing up today, inviting grace, inviting acceptance. Let's take 1 more halfway lift here. Exhale, forward fold. Press your feet down. Inhale, reach the arms up, repeating the same sequence. Exhale, hands to your heart, pause. Inhale, reach the arms up, extend in mountain pose. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, step back into a high plank or a modified plank. This time we're going to inhale. With our exhale, slowly lower all the way down to your belly. Legs are straight. Feel the tops of the toenails pressing down into the ground. Inhale, baby cobra. And then exhale, melt the chest. 1 more time. Inhale, baby cobra. Feel those thighs lift off the ground. Exhale, melt the chest down. Inhale, exhale, press back, child's pose. Last time in this sequence, big breath in. Exhale, look towards your belly button, tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Fill up with breath. Exhale, empty it out. Look to the front, step to the front of your mat. And when you get to the front of your mat, take 3 halfway lifts. When you inhale, you expand. When you exhale, you release and contract at the belly. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, stepping back into a high plank or modified. Exhale all the way down to your belly. And this is the last time I'll lead you in baby cobra. You can add on. We'll add on after this. Inhale, baby cobra, no pressure on the hands. Exhale, melt the chest down. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, relax the chest down. Tuck your toes. Send your hips back. Child's pose. With an exhale, downward facing dog. So here, hold this downward facing dog for 5 breaths. Or drop down into child's pose for 5 breaths. So while you do that, I gotta grab a hair tie. 3 breaths more, 3 more breaths. If you are in child's pose, go ahead and meet in downward facing dog. Big breath in and big breath out. Reach your right leg high. Look towards your right thumb and step your right foot forward and stay low. Stay low here in a low lunge. So know that you can keep your left knee off the ground or you can gently set your left knee on the ground. So if the knee is off the ground, it's a little bit more strength in the legs. And the knee down, it's also a great option. It might be a little bit more stretchy. I'm going to show with the knee down. All right, interlace your fingers on top of your right thigh. Relax your shoulders down from your ears. Again, start your drishti again. Focus the gaze. Notice your breath. So after holding this, actively press the big toe mound, pinky toe mound, and the right heel down into the mat. If it's comfortable for your shoulders, reach the arms up towards the ceiling. And now notice if you can create space in the lower back. Notice if you're arching your back a lot, there might be some pinching. So we want to relieve that pinching by creating space in the lumbar spine and the sacrum. So do that by lifting the front of the pelvis up towards the belly button and initiating it from your core muscles here and feeling the space in your lower back. So if you have your back knee off the ground, it would be looking like this with your left heel stacked on top of the big toe mound. The right knee is bent as deeply as your body allows today. If your knee is off the ground in the back of your left hamstring is pressing up towards the ceiling. So here we're getting a little bit of fire, getting a little bit of warmth. As you exhale, we'll all bring our hands down to the ground and everybody back knee down. And we're going to shift back into the half splits. Bouncing on the right heel, flexing your right ankle. Exhale, melt your chest down to the ground. So you might find if you are using blocks, you can grab your blocks and put your hands on your blocks here. Or maybe you're on spider fingers so that the ground lifts up to meet you. 2 more breaths. Breathing into the back of the right leg. Warming up the body. And then slowly shift forward so your right foot is flat on the ground. Tuck your left toes. And let's step our left foot forward and come into our ragdoll again. Feet hip width apart. Hands grab the opposite elbows and gently sway side to side. All right, let's flow into the left side. Maybe step your toes together, whatever's comfortable for your feet, the width of your feet. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen your spine. Exhale, forward fold. We're going to take what I'm going to call our vinyasa now. Inhale, reach your arms up, extended mountain pose. Exhale, hands to your heart. Take a pause. Inhale, reach the arms up again. Exhale, forward fold. This is familiar. We did this already. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back into your plank with the knees on or off the ground. Exhale, lower all the way down to your belly, or maybe bending the elbows 90 degrees into a chaturanga. Tops of the feet on the ground option. Inhale, upward facing dog. You might be doing that baby cobra. Tuck your toes. We're going to go right into downward facing dog. Big breath in. Big breath out. This time lift your left leg high. Setting your gaze towards your left thumb and make your way to a low lunge with your left foot forward and your right knee is either off or on the ground. And I'm going to show it down on the ground like I did on the other side. Okay, stay with your breath. Breathe in. Breathe out. Your left foot is roughly at 12 o'clock. Being mindful of your knees, your hips, adjusting to how you feel is safe for your body. Stay here with your hands down or interlace your fingers and gently rest them on top of the left thigh. And again, let's create space again in that sacrum. Lift the front of your pelvis up towards your belly button. So this is engaging what's called the rectus abdominis muscles. It's also starting to get into our bandhas here, our energetic locks, which helps us circulate this prana within us. Keep the hands where they are on top of that left thigh or reach the arms up towards the ceiling. And again, if those of you have your back knee off the ground, your right toes, the right ball of your foot, might be pressing into the ground. As the left foot is pressing down for everybody, left knee bent, those of you with your knee off the ground, the right hamstring might be pressing up towards the ceiling. So inviting in this power, inviting this prana, and then soft, steady gaze. Set your drishti forward. 5 more breaths. Breathe in. Breathe out slowly, hands to the ground. Right knee down if you had it up. Shift back into our half splits. Bouncing on that left heel. Exhale, melt your chest down. Shake out the head. Just take 4 more breaths here, creating space on the back of that left leg. So we did some flow, a little more warming up. We're going to start slowing down and working towards getting onto our back. Breathe in and breathe out. We have one more standing balance pose before we get there. Shifting forward onto our left foot. Tuck your right toes and let's step that right foot forward again into another ragdoll. Two more breaths. One more breath. Slowly fingertips to the ground. If it's comfortable, take your feet a little bit closer together or not. And then inhale, sweep your arms up as you push your feet down into the ground. Then exhale, hand to your heart. Take a pause. Stay where you are as I adjust my camera so you can see me standing. Breathe in and breathe out. We're going to come into a tree pose. So setting your gaze out in front of you. If you happen to be balance challenged, you can have a wall right next to you. So with your left foot down onto the ground, set your right foot against the inside of your left thigh. It's kind of like this. And your knee is out wide. So you're welcome to hold on to something next to you, or maybe you bring your hands to your heart. And you also might be setting your toes against the inside of your left ankle. So choose what works for you here. Breathe. Settle in. Ground your standing foot down like there are roots reaching down into the earth. Hands at your heart, or reach your arms up. Maybe creating a mudra with thumb and index finger touching, and the other 3 fingers are touching together. Soft, steady gaze. Exhale slowly, hands to your heart. Right foot is down, both feet are down. And come into what's called Samasthiti with your arms next to your sides. Pressing your feet down, feeling the crown of the head reaching up towards the ceiling, the sky, towards what inspires you. Let's hold here 5 more breaths. And then slowly come back to center. Maybe setting your gaze again. Let's do our final standing balance pose, tree pose. This time your left foot is going to rest against the inside of the right inner thigh. Again, feel free to hold on. So whether you're holding onto a chair or holding onto a wall or palms together. So if you have the foot against the thigh, see if you can press the thigh against the foot and the foot against the thigh, like both gently pressing in towards each other. Feeling the crown of your head reaching up towards the sky, grounding your standing foot down into the earth, palms together, or maybe reaching the arms up. Ujjayi breath, inhale through the nostrils and exhale through the nostrils. Slowing it down. With your next exhale, hands to your heart. Let's come into that Samasthiti, arms next to your sides. Feet are grounded. Feel that energy lifting up from the feet, up the legs, up the spine, all the way up to the crown of the head. Eyes are open or eyes are closed. 3 breaths. Inviting in softness. Open the mouth, release, sigh, let it go. We're going to start working our way down to the ground. So I'm going to lead you into a hip opener, into a reverse pigeon. Some of you might want to come into a half pigeon, but I'm teaching this as if there are more beginners here. All right. So from your standing pose, work your way onto your back, and I'll show you the half pigeon. You might know it already. So from down dog, you can bring your right knee forward. Your left leg is straight. Hinge at your hips and bow down. If you find that that is challenging, I want to just show you reverse pigeon. So laying on your back, your right ankle is going to rest on top of your left thigh. And then from here, reaching through, grabbing the back of the left hamstring, resting the head down. And you might, in reverse pigeon with your right hand, press against the inside of the right knee. What are we getting into here? We're getting into our hips. Yeah, so you might be feeling it in the hips. You might be feeling it different places in the body. You know, and again, modifying as you need. I wish I could be there with everybody. That I could be like right there and I could like adjust or not adjust, assist and just guide you if you need. But so be in the listening, observing. So take 5 more breaths in this hip opener. So you're either on your back for a reverse pigeon, or you might be in half pigeon. Take 1 more breath. Exhale, release. If you're in the half pigeon, come into down dog and then switch legs, left leg forward. Or if you're following me in reverse pigeon, left ankle on top of the right thigh. Reach through behind the right hamstring, resting the head down. And then maybe the left hand gently pressing the left knee away from you. And also flex your top ankle if you're in the half pigeon. Relax your head. If you're in the half pigeon, slowly swing both legs forward. If you're in reverse pigeon, just undo that ankle and then rock and roll yourself up into a seat. And everybody legs straight out in front of you, facing the front of your mat. So now I'm going to finally take my ponytail out. So when you lay down on your back in Shavasana, you don't have to take out your buns, take out your ponytails. And we're just going to do a couple more stretches before we lay down for Shavasana. Left leg is straight, right knee is out to the side. And your left leg, it might be out at an angle. So just choose what feels good for your body, what feels good for your spine. Inhale the arms up. Exhale and reach the chest forward. Pause until you just feel something in the back. Don't force. If it's comfortable for you, start to bring the chest a little bit closer to your thigh. See if you can flex that left ankle, toes back towards your face. Thank you for the hearts. I'm seeing those. And then breathe into the back of your leg. Breathe into wherever you feel this, maybe in the lower back. Breathe with loving kindness towards your body, your mind, and yourself. Slowing down the breath. As you inhale, slowly press the hands down to lift the torso up. And exhale, switch legs. Take 1 more forward fold here, Janu Sirsasana. So feeling those sits bones rooting down. Flexing the right ankle, reach the arms up. Exhale, reaching your heart forward, hinging at the hips. You don't have to grab your foot. You can be maybe lifted up and your hands are on your thigh. Just notice what you feel, or your hands are resting down on the outside of your leg. So just notice what's here. 5 more breaths. With your next inhale, softly press the hands down to lift the torso up. And then slowly work your way onto your back. And in Shavasana, if you like a little bit of support underneath your knees, if you have a bolster, you can have it ready. Or if you want to roll up a blanket or a beach towel underneath your knees, feel free to do that. If you want to have a blanket ready to put on top of you, we're going to take a couple minutes in Shavasana. We're going to twist first, and then we're going to take Shavasana. But if you want to have it ready, slowly work your way onto your back. Hug your knees into your chest. Just massage side to side. Let's take a twist, right arm out, knees over to the left. So melting the back of the head down into the mat. With your next inhale, pull your knees back to center. Maybe lifting your forehead up to your knees. And then left arm out, knees over to the right. Slow down the breath even more. Receive this twist. Inhale your knees back to center. Maybe giving yourself a big hug. Maybe any other postures you might like before Shavasana. Otherwise, rest your legs either on the ground or a bolster underneath your knees. Take your arms out wide. Let the ankles flop to the sides. If you prefer to take a seat in meditation instead of Shavasana, then feel free to take a seat. I'm going to be here a couple of more minutes before I lead you into our final meditation and offer you some journal prompts. But first, a couple of minutes of silence. Breathe in, sigh and let it go. You can soften your Ujjayi breath. Allow yourself to be as still as possible, whatever posture you're choosing. And receive this deep rest. We end the asana portion of our class. You're welcome to stay in Shavasana longer. If you would like to rise and take a seat, gently wiggle your fingers and your toes. Mindfully hug your knees into your chest. And then slowly press yourself up to a seat and make yourself comfortable in a seat. We'll seal our class with one Om together. Those of you joining me in an Om, bring your palms together at Anjali Mudra. Take a breath in. Aum. Bring your attention to your third eye, your inner teacher, your inner wisdom. Awakening to this present moment. Thank yourself for showing up today to nourish your body, your mind, and spirit. Touch your thumbs to your third eye. The divine in me honors and sees the divine in you. Together we bow down in thanks. Namaste. All right, my friend, option for you to grab your journal. I'm going to share some journal prompts. You can also stay seated in meditation and meditate on these prompts, or you can stay laying down where you are in Shavasana. So taking the time to grab your journal, I'm going to grab some water. So we're going to do a little bit of reflection on our year first, and then setting an intention for 2026. So the first question, reflection question, is asking yourself, how have I grown? Acknowledging, how have you grown this year in 2025? How have you grown? Maybe how have you evolved? Meditate on that. If you're writing down the question in your journal, go ahead and writing down. And I'll give you about a minute or so to journal, meditate, reflect. It's like really noticing, how have you grown this year? How have you evolved? So what we're doing is acknowledging, like, what have you done really well this year? And imagine as if you were talking to yourself, or you're talking to a friend, and you know this friend really, really well. And if you were looking at them and you could see clearly, you know what I've noticed about you in this last year? You have really grown in, well, what is it? It's like you can really see it clearly. Sometimes we are not so great at seeing, like, where we have grown. You know, we can pick apart, you know, we can criticize all of that, but now you're like, wow, I can really see that you have. And what is that? What do you notice about yourself? You're seeing yourself with loving kindness. You're shining a light on where have you grown, where have you evolved. Maybe something a challenge that you've overcome. So really shine a light on that and meditate on it, or write it down and acknowledge that in yourself. All right, if you need more time, you can come back to this after this session. Another way to ask this is asking yourself, where have you softened this year? Maybe that's the same answer as what you just asked yourself, or maybe it's something different. So where have you softened this year in your life? And again, if it's helpful, imagining that you're sitting across from yourself, seeing yourself as your best friend. It's just like, oh yeah, I really noticed this year you have softened in this way. That you can really, really notice, you really see it, acknowledge it. And sometimes we need to do that. We can't just tell ourselves. Sometimes we imagining that we're talking to our best friend, something that we know really well. I notice you, I see you, I feel you. Like allow yourself to create this close, intimate connection with yourself. How have you softened this year? And then a last, just overall general question. Asking yourself, just what have you really noticed? In this year, if I was going to pick one word that would define my growth, my softening, my evolution in 2025, what would that be? And see if you can do it in one word. You do your best. Maybe it's a phrase. Maybe it's more than one word. Just trying to distill it down to what, if you really feel it instead of thinking it. Like, what do you really notice? Have you observed about yourself this year? And now write this down or repeat this all to yourself as a declaration, as an acknowledgement. It's like in 2025, I evolved by whatever it is, maybe not reacting so much to my child, if you're a parent, or I evolved the most this year by not getting into an argument with my coworker or something that might be challenging to you. So that was acknowledging that. And maybe it's like, I really softened this year by taking a pause and taking a breath before losing my, whatever it is. I softened in this way. I softened because I no longer react to my mom or my brother instead of feeling like I want to, fight or argue. Instead, I've softened by allowing myself to be in a space of peace. I chose peace over resentment. I chose peace over anger. How have you softened? And if I was going to sum up my, my growth, my softening, my evolution this year, in this year, and then what is it? What is it you really noticed about yourself this year? It's really acknowledging that for yourself. All right, and knowing you're welcome to come back to this, spend a little bit more time with this. But when we do it shorter, sometimes the mind, the body, there's more of an honesty that can come out if you just the first thing that comes out of the thoughts and what comes out when you write it down. All right, so be with that. Okay, so now let's think about 2026. So I have one question for you. There's a lot of ways that we can look at this, but ask yourself, what quality would you like to bring into your life as you lead yourself, as you lead others in 2026? What quality do you want to lead with in your life? Leading yourself, leading others. What quality? And if you don't understand what I mean, the quality could be, you want to bring in the quality of peace. You want to bring the quality of forgiveness or empathy or compassion. Maybe the quality that you want to bring is allowing yourself to set boundaries and being clear in communicating and being truthful to yourself. And that's what I mean by quality. So ask yourself in 2026, so this is the opposite of I want a new car or I want a new house in 2026. Instead, we're doing some inner work. It's like, what quality would I like to bring into how I lead in 2026? Whether it's lead yourself or lead with others, or how you present yourself or show up in your life. What quality? And it may be more of, what you did great in 2025. Maybe that's it. Or maybe it's something that has been in the back of your mind that, this is, I'm really ready to show up in this way in 2026. And when you're ready, you can go ahead and set down your pen, set down your journals, and take a seat for meditation. Close your eyes if that's comfortable. And we're going to take a couple minutes and just allow yourself to process and receive. What does this mean to you to acknowledge your growth, your evolution, how you softened in 2025? Acknowledge that, thanking yourself, giving yourself permission to acknowledge what you did well in 2025. Now, in your mind's eye, picture yourself embodying the quality that you want to bring into how you lead your life in 2026. Picture in your mind's eye that you can see yourself. You can see your posture. You can see your body language. You can see what you're wearing. You can see where you are. Maybe you're seeing yourself as a parent or as a boss or as a student or in any situation. And picture yourself embodying that quality that you want to bring and how you lead your life in 2026. Maybe even bring a gentle curl of the corners of your lips up. It's like admiring with a loving kindness. It's like beyond proud. It's just like really acknowledging that you have done the work to show up for yourself. And then beyond that, ask yourself, how does this align with connecting to your divine presence, your divine path in life? So adding that, if that resonates with you. So in yoga, there's also the connection to our devotion, connecting to our divine guide is like, how do we show up in our dharma, being of service? And thank you for all the hearts. I feel that love. And then asking if that's something that you also want to bring in as a quality, an awareness, an intention that you bring into your life. And then gently bring your hands to your heart and just give yourself a loving massage of gratitude. I know I'm feeling a lot of love towards everyone here and gratitude that you're taking the time to show up for yourself. And then when you're ready, you can softly open your eyes if they're not open. And I thank you so much for being here with you. And I do want to let you know, I didn't mention in the beginning here on Insight Timer, if you feel moved to leave a donation, thank you. You're welcome to do that. I love when you just leave those hearts. I'm seeing that the hearts are coming out. I appreciate that. It doesn't just send it to me, it sends it out to everybody in the community. I want to thank you all for being here. I'm going to hang out for a little bit. If anybody feels like sharing what did they acknowledge and how you grew, if there was a word, if there was something that bubbled up, I'll share a little bit about myself also and when I did this work myself. And if you have to go, I just want to say thank you so much for being here. So let's see, here we go. Oh, hi, Susie. Thank you so much. Nan, thank you so much. Oh, from Colorado. Thank you. I appreciate it. Debbie, you've taken my classes before. Catherine, thank you for the donation. Looking back, Evie is here. Oh, yeah, Shahar, thank you so much. And I do want to let you know, you can find me on Insight Timer. I'm at Spiritually Fit Yoga. That's my group, Spiritually Fit Yoga. And I do have a retreat out there in Bali. It's already sold out. That's in May. But I'm going to be posting my retreat in Costa Rica here, I don't know, maybe in the next week or two. And that's not till 2027, but I am opening that up now for registration, February 2027 in Costa Rica. You can take a peek. Anyways, follow me. You'll find out when I have tracks or when I have more live sessions in my group. I always appreciate if you want to give me requests or any recommendations. I always love connecting with my students. If you're hanging out, if you want to share, feel free to share. I'm going to grab my chair. All right. So I'll share a little bit about what I discovered. Yeah. So what I discovered doing this exercise for myself is when I asked myself, where have I grown? You know, how I've evolved. Thank you, Shelley. Beautiful way that, and some of you might already be in 2026, right? the different time zone. So the biggest thing for me has been peace, has been choosing peace, because I've had challenges in my life, and not just with my family, but really in the world. And I'll just share. I'm not going to go into details, but it's been challenging for me, and it's brought up some anxiety and just really like struggling with how do I hold on to my peace and not. And, you know, my nervous system was really feeling frazzled, and just knowing how do I do this practice, and knowing that leaning into my yoga, I needed my meditation even more. This year, I felt like I really needed it. And I'm so grateful that this is a tool for me and for you to have in our lives. And I caught myself wanting to react in a way that was a little bit more hard, that had a little bit more aggressiveness than I really wanted to, and actually reminded me before I did all this yoga and before I did all this meditation. I've been doing this now for almost 40 years. But before that, I was a little bit quick to react. You know, I was those knee-jerk reactions, and I felt a little bit of that coming back up because things were really triggering me. And I was able to just pause and give myself grace and notice what are my tools, and reach out to other people and say, hey, you know, I could use some support in these areas. So in my way, that was my growth, was that I have become more vulnerable in being able to speak up and ask for support and admit if I'm struggling with something. Because I tend to be the type of person that, like, I can hold it all together. I'm like, I don't know, I work really hard. You know, I can be like that, which is not a bad thing. And it can also, for me, keep me from practicing in yoga. We talk about satya, which is truthfulness. It can actually keep me from being honest with myself. And after a while, there's only so long that we can just hold it all together before the lid pops off. And so peace. And I shared this a little bit at the end of this meditation, you know, I'm going to choose peace over resentment. I'm going to choose peace over anger. I'm going to choose peace, just choosing peace over the things that were taking me away from my center. And the blessing, the grace that I also was giving myself was, instead of beating myself up, because there's a part of me that said, gosh, I've been doing this so long, I can't believe that I'm still having these reactions. The beauty of that was that it gave me the empathy to remember that I'm human and that I'm not a robot, and that, you know, it can still come up, and the empathy of somebody else, of one of my private students or a group or whatever it is, say, wow, I'm really struggling with this. And then I can remember, me too. Me too. And I can say I've been meditating for a long time, and I've been doing yoga for a long time. And with those struggles, it reminds me, if I keep coming back to my daily meditation, it helps me stay grounded. And if I stray, or if I get lazy for some reason, I'm more vulnerable. I'm more vulnerable to what triggers, what I might be triggered to in life. So that was my growth. So just noticing that it's okay for me to ask for help which is not always that hard. That's a softening for me, actually. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Bodil. And then that actually was my softening too. Where have I softened? Because again, my old tendencies started to come up because I'm petite and I was always like tiny but mighty. That was kind of one of my nicknames, or, I just was kind of a scrappy, had a scrappy personality. I was a scrappy kid. So sometimes that used to be more of my default reaction to things, is like, don't mess with me. I started really feeling that come up, and that can serve me in certain ways. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but I was losing my peace. I was losing my softness. And I don't know if you can tell, I'm wearing a pink shirt. And I don't like to wear pastels actually, but I started to realize if I there's something called disrupting the drift. So disrupt your default. If you find yourself, the subconscious is taking over and you're mindlessly doing things saying things or doing things that you don't want, is there something that you can do that can like shift you out because you change a habit? Like I love to wear black. I love to wear my winter colors. And I started to think about my heart chakra. It's like, oh, this is where I need to soften. This is where I want to soften. And as much as I think that pink is not my color, I actually created one of my shirts in the pink colors. I was like, oh, I'm not going to wear pink. But I kind of made myself wear pink some more. And it just disrupted the drift because it was a conscious choice. And that conscious choice was just enough to bring me awareness, is that, oh, I am actually wanting my heart chakra to soften and open. It might be a simple thing, and it might be a simple thing for you. It might be like, maybe not for you, it's not a big deal, but for me, it was a big deal just to make that choice. Just if you can disrupt that stinking thinking at all and bring you to where do you want to soften? And that was kind of my whole evolution. And the other thing is just in any interactions, when there's been a challenge, which I've had some challenges at work and different places, is that I really, really pause and I step back, and I've been amping up my empathy, even when I think the other person is like really wrong. And it's just like, I just have to step back, and instead of stepping in with wanting to correct the other person or wanting to defend my side or my position, instead really having the empathy and looking at the other person as if they're this beautiful soul that they are doing the best that they can. And I don't know the whole story of why they are saying what they're doing and why they are behaving the way that they are. And it doesn't mean that I have to accept what they're saying or they're doing, but making sure that I don't lose my cool or my calm because I'm allowing myself to get triggered by somebody who they are probably not grounded and they are probably not rooted in their peace. But I can be, right? I can be, and you can be, because we practice this meditation. We practice this mindfulness. We do the best that we can. And then I just doing that's probably been my biggest evolution this last year. And this is doing all the work that I teach and that I practice and, like for a long time. But that's the one thing that I've really noticed about myself this year. And honestly, when I think about how do I want to lead in 2026, it's actually more of that. It's more of that. I didn't come up with anything new. It's just like, yeah, that's the thing that I want to bring more of that into my life, and how I teach you all, and how I am in leadership in my life, and as a parent. That's what I came up with. Anyways, but I just thought that I would share with you, as Rachel say here, thank you so much for being here today for this. Compassion all around this year is the goal. For myself and all beings, remember to be soft and balanced. Thank you again. Beautiful practice. Thank you, Rachel. Yeah, Bodil, where have I softened? Yeah, so you related to that. Thank you so much. Oh, yeah, I saw Catherine was in Honolulu. Catherine, I'm going to be in Hawaii next week. I'm going on vacation with my family. I haven't been there in a really long time. And I can't wait. And the other thing is giving myself permission to take a break. I worked really hard. I worked really hard at yoga and my yoga business. And I'm not going to work next week. So actually, I'm leading one online meditation next week because I already committed to it. It's a half an hour. So I am doing a yoga nidra next week from Hawaii, and that's okay. That's all right. I don't mind doing that. I'm choosing that. But other than that, I'm going to take a break, give myself permission to just enjoy my family. So Bodil will do more conscious work, clearing out my stinking thinking. Yeah. Oh, you know what I didn't share? I was going to share think. Do you know the mnemonic think? So T, so if you're in a situation and you find yourself, well, one, doubt your doubts, right? If you find yourself, you're getting stuck in the stinking thinking, well, first shine your light on it. That's the first way that we can like just nip it in the bud. It's like, oh, okay, I'm doing that thing. Let's clean that up. And then you can also ask yourself, think T, especially for doubting, or if you're like having insecure thoughts. T, is it true? H, is it helpful? I, is it inspirational or imperative? You can do either one, inspirational or imperative. N, is it necessary? K, is it kind? So think. So whether it's the internal thoughts that you're telling yourself, is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspirational or imperative? Is it necessary? Is it kind? You know, how you're talking to yourself. Sometimes that's where we may need to apply this most, is like our own stinking thinking, or in how you are communicating to something else, to someone else. And where I say inspirational or imperative, and it could be both for inspirational because I choose as a yoga teacher, as part of my dharma, to do my best to show up to be a light for others. And it's not spiritual bypassing love and light, but if I can bring the awareness of to be there, it's like, how can I be a contribution of peace? How can I be a contribution to maybe help somebody see the light in themselves that maybe they're not able to see within themselves, or is there a story I can share, or something that can bring you back to your center? So for me, that's inspiration. So that's why that's part of my think. And then imperative and necessary. A lot of times that can also, one, is it true, imperative, necessary, those three things. It's like taking your thoughts through those three gates. A lot of times it's like, no, it's not necessary for me to think that. It's not necessary for me to say it. It's not imperative. And beginning with the first thing, is it true? It's probably not true. Don't listen to the lies that you tell yourself. You know, probably a lot of you follow or read the 4 agreements. If you go to my tracks, you'll see I have a whole series on the 4 agreements. You know, starting with not taking things personally. You know, don't believe the lies that you tell yourself. You know, we can do all of this work. We can read the books. And when it really, really matters, if we really do the inner work and then bring it into our life and allow ourselves to be in situations where we're being tested. And then that's when it's like, oh, this, you know, have you heard, like when you're a sailor, you become a really good sailor when you're faced with the storms, because then you learn how to like pull the lines and adjust the sails and also, but if it's always clear sailing, you haven't strengthened that part. So not that I'm saying welcome the storms, but welcome the storms. I mean, because life is life. Life is just like that. And allow it to be an opportunity for you to practice, as we talked about in today's meditation and journal prompts, like how do you want to show up and lead in your life today and this year? Okay. Rebecca, thank you so much for this lovely practice and reflection. Perfect way to end the year. I am calling in trust this year in all areas of life. Enjoy Hawaii and time off next week. Cheers to 2026. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you. And I am going to sign off now. I thank you so much for connecting with me. Yeah, Bodil Think, Think. I might even have, I don't even know if I have a meditation yet with that think. So I probably should. I don't remember. I've been here for a couple of years, but anyways, I'll check that out. Thank you, everyone. I wish you the best. However and I'll share one last thing. How am I celebrating New Year's Eve? I can't wait to do a puzzle. And my husband and I were probably gonna, if we can make it till 9 p.m. That's great. I'm not a big partier, but I just want to have some peace and quiet and just have just really calm. For me, that sounds like really, really good. That's how I'm going to bring in my new year. All right. Much love to all of you. Thank you all for being here.